Hello and welcome to Open. I'm Rina Valentin, your host, Café con Leche, for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online. That's right, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Snapchat, Insta Stories, LinkedIn at Rina Valentin. So our first guest today has been a featured speaker at Yale University and the City College of New York, and that's just to name a few, as well as several Bronx events for our borough, President Ruben Diaz Jr. And she credits her journey through life so far to her unwavering faith in God. And her book, AM Conversations with the Father, details how she made it through the hardships in her life through her morning talks with God. And joining us now to tell us more, we welcome author, evangelist, Nitisha Moore. Hello and welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
We're excited to have you, and I think this is a wonderful time to share this kind of messaging as everyone kind of gets into extreme reflective mode during the holiday season.
Absolutely. This is actually my love's journey. It's me talking about and sharing with the world just how I made it through, as you said, difficult times in my life. I went through a very dysfunctional childhood. I was abused physically, mentally, and sexually. That began at the age of 6, and that just leaves a person with deep-rooted issues. And I had just been working in the church and serving in my community, but behind all of that was a really deep-rooted hurt. And so I wanted to share my journey because I kept coming in contact with people who really were living life in pain.
Wow, that's brave. That is really, really brave, all right? So, I mean, to put it in writing for other people to have access to your inner thoughts.
Yeah, it is. It has been a very scary journey, but it began with the fact that as I began to run into people, I just felt like these people need to understand just how having real conversations, not hiding from them, not pushing them down, but having these real conversations with God can bring about a healing, a deep healing that can help you to live a truly joyful and authentic life.
I love that, joyful and authentic life, right? Because I get you in the sense of like we walk around in a society that teaches us to suppress our emotions and to hide and to wear masks. And although we do wear various masks throughout our different, I guess, aspects or departments of our life, right? Because we're the same person from an authentic place, but in different situations, we wear different masks. But the truth is like at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And what is your truth? Is your truth a truth of hurt or is it a truth of heal?
Well, who is your narrator? Who's narrating your story? Is your pain narrating, the story of your life? Or is your faith, is joy, is the truth of where you are today? And the reason why this became so important for me is because I didn't want to continue to allow people who I was coming in contact with to remain in yesterday. I start off my book talking through the lens of a 20-year-old woman who was still speaking in her 6-year-old pain, through her 6-year-old voice. And I realized that I had broken relationships. I didn't trust my husband with my daughters because of the sexual abuse. I literally just went through so many emotional things. And so while I looked like this successful woman on the outside, internally I was broken. And there was a trail of that brokenness that was following me. And so what I felt...
And so like just to participate in what you're sharing is like in that trail of that brokenness, what that brokenness is that in essence eventually does is it repeats itself. And you're attracted in a different form even though it doesn't look the same.
Absolutely. And you make decisions based on a temporary situation. And you make permanent decisions based on a temporary place that we don't deem as temporary. But it's about really just being able to grab a hold of our faith. And for me, it's my faith in Jesus Christ. And so it was grabbing onto that faith and every morning confronting myself and asking myself myself some really, really deep issues. And as I was communicating with God, I realized that as I listened to how I was communicating, that I heard my brokenness through how I was speaking.
Right.
That also showed how I related to my husband. It showed, and if I wasn't careful and if I didn't seek healing, it was going to also reflect in how I dealt with my daughters.
Right, and then of course, once again, the cycle repeats itself. So here's the one thing unfortunately, I didn't get the book prior to this conversation, but I noticed that the book itself is small, and so it's a quick read, but it seems to be something that you refer to.
Yes, absolutely. And so it's a devotional. What I wanted people to be able to do was pull this out and look at whatever day I talk about trust. I detail for you
So it's
my
listed
difficulty with
in
trust.
days of like Monday, Tuesday?
It is.
It is.
It is. And this is my proof. And so, this is not the final product. And since then, I've also added more content to it. But it does. It deals with strength. It deals with trust. It talks about, fear of hope.
Yes.
It deals with, I have one in there called Snake Bite, which I love because it deals with what is driving our attractions. When we've kind of been bit by something that's unhealthy for us.
Right.
And we know it's unhealthy, but we need that instant gratification.
Right.
So we continue to go to it. Come on, as women, we know that man that was no good for us. But because
and
we
we're in
need
denial.
it.
Well, it becomes normal.
Yeah.
And that's the part that needs to be addressed. It's like, well, everybody has a different normal.
Yeah, well, it's because of what's driving the need. So in my case, what was driving the need was I wanted to feel loved. I wanted affirmation. I needed validation because my mother didn't do that.
Right.
And so for me, it was chasing this lust, this desire, this need for validation and for affection and for love. And so although I knew it was no good for me, I kept going to it. And so I talk about, snake bite. What have you been bitten by?
Oh my gosh, we
that
can go on
has-
about this all day long, and I would love to, and I'm going through this, and I feel you because at the end of the day, we're talking about our supplements, right? How we supplement
Absolutely.
pain.
Absolutely.
And this is a way of taking the pain and digging inside and spewing it out. I can't find a better word.
But more importantly, I'll say this, more importantly, it is a love, and I'll call it my love journey. It is about a God who pursues me through everything that I had gone through all of my questions, through all of my fears, through all of my hurts. It is a love story. And so you're right. This is the appropriate season for it as we approach the birth of Jesus' birthday for Christmas.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being with us,
Absolutely.
Natisha.
My pleasure.
Oh my goodness. This is AM Conversations with the Father that transform the heart, mind, and soul. I'm looking forward to reading it. I hope you will too. All right, for more on Natisha and her book, you can check out her Facebook page, AM Conversations with the Father. We are taking a quick break, but coming up, we'll be joined by Bronx artist Dennis Shelton to learn about his solo exhibit, The Artistic Journey. Don't go anywhere.